Today's topic is on self-management strategies for effective delivery. Self-management strategies for effective delivery. In today's discussion, we'll actually be looking at the key principles and techniques we could actually apply to manage ourselves so as to enhance optimal performance in whatever we do. It is always actually very easy to manage what others do or to give advice.
Recording in progress.
On what we intend that they should do. But you realize that in the process of teaching or correcting or guiding or directing others, we really need, or we just discover that we ourselves need to manage ourselves most in order that whatever we are doing, we could actually have a maximum delivery and optimal outcome in what we do. And so, just as we proceed on this, what actually is the importance of self-management in effective delivery? What is the importance of self-management in effective delivery? One is that self-management is crucial. That is very, very important in achieving efficient and successful outcomes in any endeavor at all. In whatever we are doing, if we don't manage ourselves well, we'll not be able to achieve much. Self-management actually involves taking responsibility for one's actions, time, and priorities. It is in self-management that we are able to know that we are actually responsible for every action we take, however we decide to use our time, whether to waste it or effectively use it, and what we think is important, that is how we prioritize things, is what self-management actually puts on our table. Effective self-management as well leads to increased productivity, improved work-life balance, and heightened job satisfaction. What do I mean? For you to be able to achieve much daily, whether in your office, in your home, in whatever you do, in whatever kind of business, in whatever kind of career, for you to be able to achieve much, for you to be able to say, oh, I have been able to do this, that, and count what you are able to do, you need self-management. For you to be able to improve your work-life balance, that is, if you are somebody who is, more social than official, or more official, not having any social life at all, self-management actually helps you to manage the two, to balance the two, because every facet of life is actually very, very important. And then at the end of it all, a heightened job satisfaction. But at the end of the day, you'll be able to hit your chest and tell yourself, oh, wow, I think I am happy with myself. I've been able to achieve much today. You are able to count how much you have been able to achieve, what is remaining, and why maybe you were not even able to achieve the ones you couldn't achieve. But at the end of it all, you'll be happy with yourself, because the worst day is a day where you can't easily say what you were able to achieve for the day. You just realize that if it's in the colloquial language, you say, oh, I just wasted the whole day. And that is because you did not prioritize things. Then definition of self-management. Some people will say self-management refers to the ability to regulate and control your own actions, your thoughts, and emotions in order to achieve desired outcomes. Actions, thoughts, and emotions. Your ability to control these three is what we call self-management. When you sit in a day and you tell yourself, what and what do I need to do? You plan your actions. What and what is coming to your brain? Some things coming to your thoughts, your inner and your subconscious. Are they really necessary at that time? Are they just distractions? Your ability to remove the ones that are distractions and focus on the ones that are necessary is what is called self-management. And then emotions as well. You know, I have this kind of a funny life that sometimes I tell people, I say, you see my heart, you see my brain, you see my emotions, they are so precious to me that I won't allow you toy with them. Because when you toy with them, what you are actually doing is you are giving in yourself to non-productivity. Because what really simply means that when you allow these three, that is your actions, your thoughts, your emotions, if you're not in control of them, you can't achieve much. You will not really be able to achieve much. What are the key principles of self-management? The key principles of self-management. Yeah, in this discussion, we'll just break it into three: self-awareness, goal setting, and time management. Self-awareness, goal setting, and time management. In self-awareness, what do? You develop a deep understanding of your strengths, your weaknesses, and your behavioral patterns. You develop what? A deep understanding of your strengths, your weaknesses, and behavioral patterns. This allows for effective decision-making and self-improvement. What am I trying to say? By the time you are able to understand where your strength lies, it's not everything that you are able to do effectively. It's not in every field. It's not in every thought that you are able to effectively function. You need to define yourself. You need to define where does your strength lies. Which ones are your weaknesses? Which ones you really know you can't do much about it? What are your behavioral patterns? You know, I told someone one day, I said, no matter what you place before me, the moment I get the signals in my system as to not to respond to what you are saying, not to attend to what you are saying, or not to work on what you are saying, I simply decline. Because I won't be able to give it my best at that time. So in self-management, you should be able to understand your systemic signs, your systemic signals. The second thing is goal setting. Setting clear and achievable goals provide a sense of direction, motivation, and a framework for prioritization. What do you mean by achievable goals? There are goals that are not achievable. You can imagine if you tell yourself that today you are going to your flight to London, let's say to London is, you know how many hours it's going to take you when you are to arrive. And then you tell yourself when you arrive, you are still going to come back to Nigeria today. And then when you come back to Nigeria today, that is, there are things that are not just working. It's just like when you see somebody who fixes a meeting for 3 to 4, you fix another meeting 4 to 5, you fix another one 5 to 6, you fix another one 6 to 7. Assuming some eat to the other a bit, you become stressed. Even for us, for example, that are lecturers now, you can't fix timetable for me to be with students from 9 to 12, and you fix another lecture for me from 12 to 2, and you fix another one from 2 to let's say 5, and you fix another one from 5 to let's say 7, and you want me to be effective? Even if it's when I was teaching in secondary school, when the timetable masters finish setting their timetable, and you fix me in 3 hours to 2 hours, that's three lessons, double lesson, double lesson, double lesson, immediately after break, double lesson, double lesson. I tell you, please, split this. I am not the only teacher in the school. Because what it will simply mean is that you will prepare maybe for your first early classes, and the other ones, you just go there and start talking nonsense. You will not be prepared. So what am I trying to say in essence? You need to know goals that are achievable. It has a time frame. Every achievable goal has a time frame. You can't be planning something that is achievable in 10 years and you say you want to do it in 1 month. You'll just be deceiving yourself and wasting your time. And at the end, you get frustrated. Setting achievable goals actually give you, it provides you a sense of direction. That is, where am I going from here? When you know you have an achievable goal, oh, I have something to deliver in the next 3 hours, and then, or something to deliver in a week, and I still have this whole week to look at it, to do, to check again, to build on it until I get the best. It gives you the motivation. You yourself become interested in doing the work. But what if you just look at it and at a glance, you just know that you will not be able to deliver this? You get frustrated. Then time management. Effectively managing your time allows you to allocate resources efficiently, meet deadlines, and maintain a healthy work-life balance. Resources efficiently. You know, when you don't prioritize, when you don't manage your time, for example, and tell yourself, if, for example, within a year, you have a budget. This and this and this and these are the things I intend to achieve. Project A is the first project. I'm going to put in 50 million. Project B is the second project. I'm going to give it 10 million. Project C is the third project. I'm going to give it 30 million. What if all of a sudden you now decide, you get yourself confused and you carry project A, project B, project C? You know your inflow. You now have 50 million to cough out, 30 million to cough out, 10 million to cough out at the same time. When, if you would have spread it across the line, you would have been effectively doing them without stress. Let's come to little things, for example, like as a woman that I am. If I have already set for myself, for example, that at the first quarter of the year, the money that goes for social life, people want you to, what the Nigerians call Ashebi and Co, uniform and the rest of them, and I have my budget. If I am done with that budget for that first quarter, no matter how you try to convince me on the importance of another Ashebi that was not planned within my budget, I only politely tell you, I'll get back to you. But of course, within me, I know I'm not going to get back to you on that discussion because that is not within my budget. When you allow people push you around your budget and trampling with your time management and your resources, you get frustrated and you won't be able to effectively deliver. A healthy work life. Who says you can't do 10 things in a day and still be healthy? If you plan well, if you plan your time, if you manage your time well, you'll be able to do it. But what if it is just anyone you remember, you do it? You now remember you have not done it, you jump to it. You now remember you have not, because you did not timetable yourself. One of the key principles of self-management is time management. Now, what are the techniques for self-management? One, prioritization. I've said it several times. Rank tasks based on urgency and importance to ensure optimal allocation of time and resources. Simply prioritize things. In prioritization, for example, there are some things that are important and urgent. There are some things that are important but not urgent. There are some things that are not important and not urgent. And there are some things that are urgent but not important. So when you are able to classify your task into these 4 different categories, I tell you, you'll be able to manage yourself well and better. And that is why somebody will not just push you into what you've not planned for. And then if it's some people, they say, just to please. Please who? If you have your tasks that you have already timetabled, you categorize them into, this one is very important and it's very urgent. This one is important, but it's not urgent. This one is not even important and is not urgent. This one is urgent, but not important. So when you look at them, you will know the one that takes the priority, the one that is urgent and is important. You treat that first, and so on and so forth. What is the second technique? Task delegation. Task delegation. You can't do it all. Delegate non-essential tasks to trusted individuals to focus on high priority activities that requires your expertise. I repeat, non-essential. There are certain things that are not too essential, but they have to be done. You can leave those ones for trusted workers of yours, trusted friends, trusted individuals to handle them. But the ones you know needs your expertise, focus on those ones. It is lack of priority that may push you to start working on non-essentials when the essentials that needs your attention is not attended to. As a head of department before my study leave, I used to tell my exam officer then, when we have been asked, let's say, for example, submit your departmental results to the management next week, Friday, and today is Monday. Let's say this week, Friday, and today is Monday, and I have called my exam officer and I say, we are submitting this to the management on Friday because maybe Senate is on Monday. Management will consider and send to Senate on Monday. And you leave it, and I come to your office once and come to your office second time, the second day, and you are not on it and not almost finishing. I know that you are almost putting me at attention. and you will put my department to disgrace. And I won't allow you. What I will simply do is to remove that from you and delegate to somebody else. And face it and work on it, because I wouldn't want my department to be called at the management, and I wouldn't have my results to be presented. Neither will I be at the Senate, and other departments will be presenting their results, and I won't present mine. So task delegation is not every task that you delegate. There are non-essentials, delegate those ones. Yes, supervise them. But the essential ones that needs your expertise, do not play with them. The third technique is on what we call stress management. I think was it last 3 weeks? 3 weeks ago, a webinar discussed on stress management and ability to develop resilience, building resilience, stress management, and building resilience. Implement techniques such as mindfulness, exercise, and self-care to effectively manage stress and maintain your well-being. Just as I said earlier on, when I read my system signals, my body signals, and my body or my system is telling me you need rest, and somebody else is telling me you need to attend to this, I simply obey my body system. Because if you crash, that work continues without you. Highest you'll be rendered is a minute silence. Or is it how many seconds silence is this? So what are the benefits of effective self-management? 1, increased productivity. Efficiently managing your time and resources leads to higher productivity and accomplishment of goals. Just as I earlier said, when you effectively manage yourself, you just realize that you are doing well. That's the easiest language to use. You are doing well. Improved work-life balance. You realize that, just as I said earlier on as well, if you are somebody who is too official, that don't have time for exercise, no time for social life, no time to blend sometimes with even colleagues and the rest of them. When you are effectively managing yourself, you'll be able to balance all this. Then enhanced job satisfaction. At the end of every day, at the end of every time of your stock taking, of how far have I gone, you will realize that you'll be happy with yourself. I would like to conclude this way. Self-management requires self-awareness, goal setting, time management, prioritization, task delegation, and stress management. Self-management strategies are or include self-management requires self-awareness. You need to be aware of what you're doing. Goal setting. Remember I said deliverables. That is set goals that you can achieve, achievable goals. Time management. Every tick in a time is something that you need to be aware of. Any tick that has gone, you can't get it back. Prioritization. All tasks are not as equally important as the other. Remember, those are the ones that I said at every time, classify your task into urgent and very important, very urgent, very important, urgent, not important, not urgent, not important, important but not urgent. Task delegation. Let others do some work for you. You can't do all, but those should be non-essentials. You can imagine if you are going to have an occasion. Let me just give a popular, that's something within reach to us. You're going to have an occasion, you have invited guests, and then you leave catering services, the food your guests will eat. You leave it in the hands of those that you are not sure if what they will provide will be enough, or if what they will provide will even be good enough. And you just relax and say they will bring food. You just have yourself to blame if anything goes wrong. And then stress management. It is somebody whose head is calm, calculated, organized, non-irritable, that can actually deliver much. Encouragement to implement. I really want to encourage us to implement self-management techniques. Take charge of your actions. Let none of your actions be accidental. Take charge of it by implementing self-management techniques in your daily life, which means at all times and in all places, every minute, every second. Why? So that you could achieve greater success and fulfillment. So this will be all for today, as I really wish us a happy week once again. Remember, I am Dr. Mrs. Juliet Hassana Okibai Moneme. And remember what we have been discussing every week, it is still under the Nigerian Education of Our Dream series. In this series, we'll keep touching and touching different aspects of our lives, because education is not only within the four walls of the classroom. Happy week and happy midweek to each and every one of us. I wish us all the best, and I really wish to encourage us to be able to actually look into the self-management strategies and the techniques discussed. It is really going to help us seriously. Good evening. So now we can take questions, observations, addition, just any aspect of what we've discussed so far. Thank you.
Thank you.
So time for observations, discussions, questions. I'm now listening to you. I finished talking, so I'm listening to you. I am not seeing any hand off, I mean up. If you want to say something, you can unmute yourself and then say what you wish to say.
Good evening, Doc.
Good evening.
Thanks for the section. I just dropped a question in the chat room.
Okay.
I don't know if you can respond to that. Thank you.
All right. Please, how do you reconcile stress management and utilization of workforce efficiently? The question says, how do you reconcile stress management and utilization of workforce efficiently. Now, your workforce is actually defined by the task, the daily task, depending on your organization, the hourly task, and let's even use either hourly task, daily task, weekly task, meaning that you have every task that you are supposed to deliver at certain times. Now, there is this principle we call the Pomodoro principle. You know, the Pomodoro is like from the shape of the olden days tomato that is in compartments. What Pomodoro principle says is that no matter how busy you are, in order to manage stress effectively or to remove yourself from being overwhelmed by stress just because of the workforce, what you do is every 30 minutes, just stand up from your seat, stretch. By the time you do that, like for 4 times, you already have 2 hours. After every 2 hours, that is 1 cycle of Pomodoro. You stand up now from your seat and move around. If it's an office where you have others, just move around, speak to a few friends. If it's weird, speaking to anybody is not actually allowed. Maybe the organization has a fridge or your own office has a fridge. Walk to your fridge area, pick cold water or warm water, depending on what you like. Drink, just walk around your office. You can even decide to open, if your office has a curtain, open it and just look outside. Then you come back to your seat. By the time you are coming back now, because what you have just gone to do now is just within 5 minutes. By the time you do that, you realize that you have a kind of what you call, that you'll be re-energized, you'll be refreshed, you'll be strong once again to continue. If maybe even before you went on that, you know, what you call, that's a bit of moving about. If there was something that was actually cracking in your brain that you have not been able to get an answer or an accurate direction, at such times, because in Pomodoro principle, you get what we call inspiration. You may realize that an idea will just hit your brain and you'll be like, oh, okay, I think I can actually do this that way. That you take little bits of some seconds or some minutes to rest your brain and your mind out of a workforce will not prevent you from delivering at targeted time. I don't know, Sir Yunus Ajimo, if what I have said throws a little light to what you asked.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think I'm okay.
Thank you, sir.
It's very insightful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Somebody said, I wish to add that in self-management, no matter the setting, you need to build a network you can trust, no matter how few or how many. In so doing, you can delegate without regrets. Yes, that's exactly what we said. But remember, we said there is what we categorize as non-essentials, and there is what we categorize as essentials. If peradventure you are going to delegate essential, it has to be under your supervision. Why? Because if you are the head of a parastatal, at the end of it all, glory or failure is you, not your delegates. Thank you. That is Margaret. Thank you, Margaret, for that wonderful contribution. All right. Do we have more contribution? Okay. Ibrahim Haruna. Your hand is up. Yes, Doc.
Yes. Yes,
Good
thank
evening.
you. Good evening, Doctor. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for the good presentation. I think mine is just a contribution. I think you feel it that we topic in a very fantastic manner. But what I want to say in terms of self-management is how do we manage ourselves, right? I mean, bringing it back to the Nigerian context, we all go to work. We all say we're working for somebody, right? But how do we manage our time? Our time management. Nowadays, one of the complaints I've been hearing is that the workers in Nigeria, for instance, some of them are not that efficient, right? You see a lot of people on the phone, and personally, I've explained to myself. Sometimes you go to buy something, and you are not getting a good customer service. Even the tone, the way they address you, right? And that brings it back to one self-awareness, and because to be self-aware is put yourself into that situation. If you are the owner of that business, how will you feel, right? That um, or also, do you want to be treated the same way you are treating somebody, right? So whatever you are working, whether you're a customer service or anything you do, try to also think about the other person from their own perspective. How would they feel? When you go to Lagos, for instance, Abuja is getting to that situation where you see people just driving anyhow, right? Or you see people not following the line, you see people just driving anyhow. It's also part of self-awareness. So how do we build a society that we obey the law, we follow law and order? So all these things are also part of self-awareness, right? Because every one of us on the road has a place that we're going. We're all going home, or we're going to our offices, or we're going to go buy something, right? And so, which means that we're all important, right? But you get a situation where you go to bank, you're in line up, somebody is just coming in, and somebody will just say, hey, come. Yes,
Come.
just say, and I will be looking. So those of us on the line, we don't have anywhere we're going, or we don't have any business, right? So all these things part of self-awareness, right? So we have to always think that we need to be self-aware that we're all treat ourselves like a human being, that we're all equal, and at the same time we need to obey the law, we need to do the right thing, and that's how we can build a better society, right? The developed world, they're the way they are because of the law, because they obey the law, right? If you don't, you're going to be fine. Good example, there's something called a bylaw. You have the parks everywhere. If you dump something where you're not supposed to dump it,
Yeah.
it's $5,000 fine, right? $5,000. So now, you can't litter. If you go to Lagos or anywhere, you see all those gutter, you see everything is filled up with bottles and everything, right? Why? Because people just drink, drop it on the floor. Everywhere is blocked, and that's why when you have a big lane, but the gutter is filled up with blockage, then you see flooding everywhere, right? So I think we need part of the lesson or my takeaway from this is that we need to be self-aware, and that will help us also manage stress. Now, if we do what we need to do, we'll be able to manage stress, and we can actually live better life, and we can be good at whatever we do. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Doc, for that wonderful contribution. We're grateful. Thank you. I'm not seeing any more hands up. Can we then call it a day, or we call it a night?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right then.
Have a good one. Have a good one, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Well.
Okay, Dr. Said, you want to say something, or?
I just, my own is just to praise the whole thing. And from my own angle here, I can see that, yes, the presenter actually did justice to the topic under discussion. I quite appreciate you for this. And I actually know that you actually prepared for it because I've taken something reasonable from this presentation. So I just appreciate you. And I'm promising I don't think I will miss this lecture again, because I never know that it's so educative and so insightful. So kudos, Doc. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. All right. Haja Miriam. Sorry for keeping you at 7 p.m. and you have still been around. Sorry.
No, but I'm happy because I was able to say my prayers.
Yeah. Sorry, we won't repeat such mistake again. Due to popular demand, that was why we shifted the lectures from 7 to 8. And then I think what we'll have to do, by God's grace, as time goes on again, is to give a reminder that our meetings is not 7, it is 8. It will help people to relax their mind and do one thing or the other they need to do before the 8 p.m. Thank you, Ma, for your patience. Thank you. All right, in the absence of any further discussion for today, we call it a day. Good evening. Once again, this is Dr. Mrs. Juliet Hassana Okibayemoneme. It's really nice having all of you this evening to discuss this wonderful topic. I pray that all that we have been able to discuss this evening, we put them to practice so as to be able to be effective in our various fields.
I am back. I am back, my darling.
Okay, ma'am.
All I learned today is that if you put everything in the proper perspective and be proactive, it will make your job easy. And you don't have to go through all the stress that people are going through today. Put everything in the right thing, then the other one is that you cannot do everything. The non-essential things, delegate it to people that can do it. The essential ones, give it to a professional that can handle it properly so that the message will be delivered as it should be. I pray you'll be able to put all these things in a book form.
Okay, ma'am.
So that we'll all gather around you.
Thank you, ma'am.
For the betterment of the society. Yes, I know we have teachers, we have lecturers, we have doctors, we have professors, but knowledge is something you cannot get on the roadside. If we're able to do this thing collectively, launch it, I think we're contributing our own quota to humanity.
Wow.
And we'll
very much, Doctor.
So, Doctor, we appreciate you. Keep it up. We'll always be there to support you. And in supporting you, we're supporting ourselves. We're supporting our children. We're creating an enabling environment. What some of our children cannot get in school, through this effort, we'll be able to send it and communicate back to them. Thank you. And to all of you that are supporting her, may Allah reward you in a very beautiful way. And may Allah grant us all our heart desires. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. We are grateful. Haja Miriam Salio. We are grateful. Dr. Victoria Pila, it's like you wanted to say something, Ma.
Yeah, good evening, Doctor. Good evening, viewers, participants.
Good evening.
I just want very much for the webinar. I was just passing by and then I saw that my friend has invited me for a webinar. Even though I saw that the time was fast spent, I said, no, I won't just let it go. Let me try. And then I got into the meeting just when you were answering the last two questions, but I think it's very interesting topic. And when next you send, I'll have my eyes to the ground. When next you send me an invite, I'll key it in and join you. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ma. We will send the recorded message to our YouTube channel, and then we'll send a link so that those who were not able to participate from beginning will be able to listen to the presentation from beginning to the end. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc.
God bless you.
Amen.
Right.
Bless you too, Ma.
All right.
So I think I didn't see any other hand raised. Vero Chiobi, you want to say something, ma?
Well, I may not have much to say. I just joined today. I want to say that I'm happy to participate in the lectures, and I've picked one or two things that will help me as an educator too. So I want to thank you so much, Doctor, and our wonderful, CWOP. So we thank God that we have you, and I pray that others will key into this and learn more on how to help to improve the education in our country and anywhere we find ourselves. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, my man, and you too. Thank you, ma'am. All right, I think in the absence of any other contribution and question, we'll call it a day. I remain Dr. Mrs. Juliet Hassana Okibai-Moneme. God bless you all. Have a wonderful rest.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Bye.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this one is one of the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.